The tips in this video will help make your life editing easier and faster, I promise you that. And if they don't, I'll let you give me one good shot in the gut. Just one though. This is actually part 2. You guys really liked part 1 a lot, where I went over all the different custom keys that you could set up. Some of you said that you weren't going to listen to me, because why would you change your keys? But then when you saw how it made everything faster and more efficient and easy to use, you switched it up. And maybe the fact that I gave you a free downloadable PDF, maybe that helped out. So you guys liked that video quite a lot, and you asked me to make a part 2. And I thought, I can't really make a part 2, because those are mainly the only custom keys that I use. But I looked into it, and I was also suggested other custom keys, and here we are. So the first one, which I have been using the most, I think, out of this entire list, is the quick ability to open up your browser by pressing 8, and the quick ability to open up your inspector window by pressing 9. So it's 2 buttons, they're right next to each other, and it's easy to remember because 8, which is on the left, opens up the left side, and 9, which is on the right, opens up the right side. So it just simplifies it. So if you don't know how to set this up, here's how you go about doing this. And I would suggest following along, because even if you don't want to use these keys, you could just set them up, try them out, and then switch to your old keyboard at any time if you want. So you press Option Command K. This brings up your command editor, your keyboard command editor. And if you don't have a custom keyboard already, you'll likely see that it's on default. So you would duplicate it, type whatever you want, maybe custom keyboard, or if you don't know if you'll be using my dumb keys, you'll say Dylan's dumb keys, and then you'll hit OK. And just for this, I'm going to hit example because that's what I use for these tutorials. And you'll go to the top right and you'll type in show hide, and it should be show hide browser. There it is, which is typically Control Command and 1. Way too many keys, so you just hit the letter 8. And if you want, wow, I swear I'm a man. I swear I'm a man. I'm a real man. I'm not a teenager. I'm not going through puberty. I'm a man. Okay, you hear me? Tell me in the comments I'm a man, please. So you could delete this if you want, or you could leave it. It's up to you. I kind of like to delete it because then it forces me to remember 8 as the key. And the other one, you would type in inspector, and that is typically Command 4. So you'll just click that and hit 9, and then you'll delete this. So this is basically the same steps that you're going to do for all of these. And the next one also I have found very handy, and you will too if you always have different libraries up. It's not just one timeline open. So for example, I'm going to press I'm going to press 8 real quick to bring this up. Just look how quick that was. And I'm going to go to this, which is my Final Cut templates library, has all my different things that I use with sound effects and stuff. I have a video on that. I'll link it in the description about how I set this up. But let's say that we don't have this up and maybe we go back to this timeline. You don't have to go up here and press this icon every time. You just press 7. So I can go back by pressing 6. I can press 7 to go to the other one. And if we have another timeline up, so now we have a bunch open. Now you don't have to go to this if you're ever editing. Just hit 6 to go back, bring you all the way back to that first timeline, 7 to go to that one, and another 7 to go to that final timeline. So it's really simple because just like the 8 and 9 keys, 6 and 7 right next to each other, and they're dead center, which is kind of similar to this in a way. Dead center in the middle of the UI, so easy to remember. 6 and 7 keys to go back and forth between the different libraries. Sorry, the different timelines, but you know what I mean. And you know how to set it up now, but I'm just going to quickly show you what it's called. It's called Timeline History Back. So timeline history back, change it to 6. Timeline history forward, change it to 7. This other one you guys might find very useful. If I select this area, typically we would have to bring this down because it's peaking. And let's say we also wanted to apply the same thing here. So in the past, you would have to select it, press, I think it was Option Shift and then C to copy these keyframes, and then you would go to this one and you would press Option Shift V to paste that. Way too many keys, kind of annoying. So instead, I made it so when you make a selection here and you bring this down and then you want to perhaps copy these keyframes again, you just press the left square bracket and press the right square bracket. So you'll notice that that just drops it down right there. So as another example, let's say you have part of a sound effect that is raised. You just press the left square bracket to copy. You go to where you want to paste it, which is right about here, and then you hit the right square bracket, and then it'll paste those keyframes. And then if you want, you could extend this out just a bit more. So just an easy way to go through and add extra keyframes, and we can just go through all these clips and just do the same. You get the point. Copy with the left square bracket and paste with the right square bracket. This next one I think you'll like. It's suggested by a subscriber named Alex Sikna. And if you've ever got the missing media frame and you've been annoyed at how it pops up, if you don't have the right hard drive connected, or if you don't have the right folder downloaded and stuff, this may make you have less of a headache. So just as an example to explain this, I have this photo that's on my desktop. If I just drag it over onto this timeline, the photo is not sitting where the rest of the media is for the library. And so that can be a problem. And so the solution now, when you finish a project, let me open up our browser by pressing 8, and we go to this library. You just select the library and you press Command S. Think like Command Save, but we don't have to save in Final Cut, so this key is open. So this consolidates all of your media, or brings all of your media that is separate from the library, it brings it into the library. So this is good and bad. It's good because then you won't have any of those missing media frames, because then everything will be brought into the library, but also it may increase the size of your library. But so usually we just want to include the original media because we can transcode at a later time, and then you would just hit OK. So now, if we went to another computer with the hard drive that has this library on it, this picture would show up because it's basically been copied to the library. So that's Command S, and if you want to find that, let's press Option Command K, consolidate. You just click Consolidate Library or Project, hit Command S, and hit Save. This next one is one suggested by you guys, and I don't have this set up. Well, I did set it up for this tutorial, but I have gotten very good at barely even looking at my keyboard to expand my audio. So by pressing Control S, you can expand out your audio. This is very useful for J and L cuts, and then you could go in and add a crossfade. Like we learned in the last video, we changed the automatic crossfade to the backslash or the forward backslash. I can never get those right, but that automatically adds that crossfade and just smooths it out. But yeah, that Control S, very easy to use, but that's just the default key. What the YouTube husband suggested was making this the 0 key. So instead of Control S, which is 2 keys, you just press 0, and that's going to open things up for you. So then you can go ahead and add a J cut, an L cut, and so on and so forth. And you can find that just by searching Expand Audio. And there I have both Control S and 0. So this one I quite like. Let me press 8 to close that. And if I just select this and press Control R to render this selection, typically I do this if my timeline isn't playing back very smoothly, and that renders out the clips. This creates render files, which then adds on to the size of your library, and by the time you're done working on your project, your library may be very huge, or at least larger than it needs to be. So typically, the way to go about fixing that, if we press 8 again, is by going to File, to delete generated clip files. Oh, we have to select this, File, delete generated library files, and then you would hit delete render files. Usually I do all, and then I would delete all of these at the end of my time editing that project. And these are all files you can get back, so don't worry about doing this. And then you would hit OK. But that's kind of time consuming to go through that file structure, so all you have to do is select that library and press Command D, and that window pops up. Then you can go and delete that. And the nice thing is, if you happen to optimize clips, so maybe you turn them to ProRes and you wanted your timeline to play back smoother, or maybe you made proxy media from your clips so it plays back smoother and stuff, you could just hit Command D when you have those clips selected on your timeline, and then delete those very quickly from there. But the 4 that I use the most are the ones to go back and forth between the different projects, and the one to close my windows. So I would set those up at the minimum, or just set nothing up. And in fact, write in the comments, Dylan, I appreciate you, but you suck. Just tell me you're not going to do it. That's fine too. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you did in the comments, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Go out and create something great.